Hey guys, how are you today? As promised, I'm popping on live today so that I can share the Superhero t-shirt with you guys. I'm going to ink that up today. Just going to quickly share this real quick in my group so that they can find me. I don't know what it is about being live. Every time I'm live, I can't keep my hands out of my hair or off my face. I don't know what it is. I apologize. As you come in, y'all say hello. Let me know that you're here and that you're joining me today. And let me share this real quick. There we go. All right. So like I said, today I'm going to ink up a t-shirt. I'm going to do the Superhero t-shirt that I talked about yesterday during my live. And that is this C size transfer right here. It's got quite a couple of different add-ons. So I'm going to be able to cut this down and do a couple of different layering techniques on this t-shirt today. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this from this package. Now, my name is Nikki Godwin. I'm a master mentor with Couture. I've been with Couture for a little over a year now, and we specialize in DIY home decor. And as you can see, we are able to do a lot of other things with our products. We have a full line of silk screen transfers that are reusable. You can reuse these 8 to 10 times. You can, we also have a line of Chalkology paste. There are 33 different colors. We have a line of inks, and that comes in 20 colors. So you're sure to find a color that you can use to match for any project that you're doing. Now, on the back of all of our silk screen transfers, on the back of the reusable package, is the instructions that tell you how to peel, apply, remove, clean, dry, and store your transfers. So you get that full 8 to 10 uses out of them. That's guaranteed by the company. So I'm just going to set this package aside real quick. And I'm going to start to cut these apart. Now on these larger transfers, sometimes they have what is called cut lines. And I'll bring this closer so that you guys can see. I don't know if you can see the line that's running up and down right there. That's where you're able to cut this transfer and to make it where it is in smaller, more manageable pieces. So I'm just going to cut this apart. Now, this one I am doing for my teenager today. I'm going to do a Superhero t-shirt for him. So I just have a plain t-shirt that I picked up at, he's peeking at me from around the corner here, if y'all wonder what I'm smiling at. So I'm just going to get this cut up real quick. Now all of our transfers come on a reusable backing, so one side is matte and the other side is shiny. You're always going to want to store your transfers and put them back on the shiny side. A lot of people write on the back of them so that they can make sure that they don't mess up and put it on the wrong side. Because if you put it on the wrong side, it'll stick and you won't be able to use it anymore. Or it might ruin the transfer. So you want to make sure that you are definitely putting that on the shiny side. Okay, so I'm going to think of the pieces that I'm going to use here. Now I'm only going to use 2 different colors today. Since this is a black t-shirt, I'm only going to use, I think, red and yellow on this. That's the colors he picked out, so I might decide to add something else to it. We'll see. That hasn't got the 15-year-old's approval, so we'll see if I can get away with that. No promises. All right. So like I said, Couture is a company that specializes in DIY home decor. So it allows you to create your own projects, and you can do it in a matter of minutes instead of hours, and with limited supplies, so that you're not having to run back and forth to the craft store all the time. You can just order your supplies from me online, and then you'll have everything you need to go ahead and get your project done. Okay, so we're not using that one, so we're going to use this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put our sticky mat that we have in here. It's our ink mat. I'm going to put it inside this t-shirt so that when I start to ink the t-shirt, that ink does not bleed through to the other side. Let me turn on my heat press real quick. So I'm just going to take off the protective film and then slide it inside of this t-shirt. And hopefully this turns out decent. I have inked a couple of t-shirts before and they've turned out pretty cute, but layering in me, if you've watched any of my lives before, you know that layering is not something I'm patient for. I have a real tendency to try to speed through my crafting, and I mess up projects because I don't necessarily let them dry. But we're going to see today. Hopefully I'll be able to settle down enough and not rush through it. All right. So another great things about this sticky ink mat is that it really does, you're able to smooth out that fabric and get all the wrinkles out of there, so that when you apply this transfer on here, it is a nice smooth surface you're working with, and you won't have problems with the transfer not adhering because you have a huge wrinkle in the middle of it. So it kind of helps, especially if you're not a favorite of if you do not favor ironing, I should say. Okay, so since we are using this on fabric today, I'm not going to fuzz the back of this transfer. Normally when I take this transfer off, I fuzz the back of it so that it adds lint to the back of it, and so it's easier to remove. But since this is already going on a fabric transfer or a fabric surface, I don't have to worry about that step. Now our transfers are textile, so when you remove them from the backing, you want to make sure that you are lifting top to bottom or side to side, never corner to corner, because it will pull against the bias and it'll stretch. You also want to make sure that you're lifting straight up, not curling it back, because when you curl that back, that's going to curl your transfer as well. So you just want to make sure that you're kind of lifting that straight up. Let me hold the backing there. And I'm just going to place this transfer or this lightning bolt down here. I should bring this closer so you guys can see. So right here, it looks clear, but there's actually a silk screen there. That's what that ink is going to go through. That's how I'm going to apply that to the transfer. And everywhere that you see that's green, that's actually adhesive. So it really sticks to your surface so that you don't get that bleed through that you normally would with a stencil. So that's what makes ours a little bit unique, is that you're not really dealing with the problems that you would have with a stencil. All right. So now that I have that on here, just going to make sure that I've got it pretty even there. And I'm running my hand all the way over this, making sure that I've got really good contact so that that adhesive is all the way down. This is our Couture ink. This is what I was talking about earlier that comes in 20 different colors. Now this is the perfect consistency. Whereas paste gets a little dry, and because it's water soluble, you can add water to that. With the ink, you don't have to worry about that. It kind of has the perfect consistency already. So I am going to, so I really don't even have to stir that up. Hey Nicole, how are you? I'm doing a superhero t-shirt for my 15-year-old today. I'll turn it around so you can see. Okay. So yesterday on the live, I was asked the question of what different squeegees that we had. So I'm just going to show you guys really quick. This is our mini squeegee. This is small, of course, mini, hence the word mini, but it is perfect for those detailed areas, and sometimes the transfers are tiny, so you'll definitely want to use this, or you could use our multi-tool. Now this has the tapered end, and it's got a really small area, even smaller than the mini squeegee, for getting detailed into small areas. It also has that curved end, and this is shaped to fit perfectly inside the paste so that you can, hey Crystal, so that you can mix this up and mix your paste up. So it is curved so it gets underneath that lip of the jar so that you can really get in there with that paste and stir all those pigments back together. But since we're working with ink today, we don't have to worry about that. Next is our small squeegee. Again, this is a soft silicone squeegee. It has a tapered end so that when you are dragging it across this transfer, it gives you the perfect angle to be able to push that ink or that paste through that silk screen area, so you get a really nice even application. This is our angled squeegee. It's for slightly larger projects. It has several different angles to it so that you can use just one squeegee for your, I would say like your size C or D transfers. This is really good for that. It has the straight edge right here. It has another straight edge here, and then it's tapered on the ends with smaller, so it kind of makes up for the size of the small and the mini squeegee all in one tool. Then you have our large squeegee. Now this is our handled squeegee. This is for your really big projects. It really moves that paste quickly across your large projects so that you do not have to, oh yeah, you sure can. T-shirts, tea towels, you name it. This is for the larger areas. It really moves a lot of paste very quickly so that that paste does not dry on you. I've also done this with pillowcases. When you're doing a large, I think we have buffalo plaid, we have the houndstooth that are really large prints, so that when you put those on a pillow, this is the tool that I would use for that. It's not as flexible as the other squeegees, so you do get a better drag as you run that across your projects. All right, so now that I've gone over all the tools, I'm actually going to use, I think I'm just going to use the small squeegee. This is typically what I use for most projects, unless it's a border base or, again, something detailed. So I'm just going to load this ink into here. Now you want to be careful when you're working with ink. This is a permanent substance. So I would be really careful and make sure that you don't get it off of the silk screen area, because anywhere you're going to get it, it's not going to come off. So I'm just going to put it here. I start a little bit off of the silk screen area and then drag it across. You want to also make sure that it's a nice thin coat. I have a tendency to be able to, you know, that silk screen area is clear so you can see underneath it. And sometimes I'll add a little too much just because I don't think I can see the black underneath the yellow, and so I don't think it's covering as well as I want it to. So I have a tendency to try to rush the process and really not take my time with it, and that has got me into some problems with my projects before. So I'm really trying to make myself not do 3 and 4 coats like I normally would. You can also, because this area is clear, be able to see if you've missed any spots, which makes it nice to be able to go back and to fix that. Hey, Jennifer. All right, so let me grab this top real quick. Make sure I don't have it on my fingers so I don't get it on my project. And I'm just going to lift this right off the board here. All right, I'm gonna stick this right there. All right, now I'm going to take this ink mat out from underneath the, or in between this t-shirt, so that I can heat press this so that it does not bleed through, or so that it doesn't, so that I don't mess it up. You want it dry before you layer on top of it again. All right. I'm going to set this aside because I'm going to need to use it again. I'll flip this around so you guys can see. See how cute that turned out? All right. So I'm going to actually move my paste or my ink. I have in the past flipped my project up and put it right into the open tub of ink, which is always nice. All right, let me clean my hands off. You definitely want to make sure that you're checking your hands periodically throughout your project, because you will. Thank you so much, Jennifer. I will probably throw it up in my ever prominent ponytail as soon as this live is over. But thank you for your kind words. I appreciate it. All right, so I have had my heat press over here heating up for me. So I'm gonna cover this. Actually, before I do that, I'm gonna dry it with a hairdryer real quick. This is a step I usually forget. I always try to hurry up and get through it, and I forget this important step all the time. You want to make sure that your ink is dry before you put your parchment paper over it to heat set it, because it will lift it up. It doesn't have to be completely dry, just dry enough that you can set that parchment on top of there. Hey, Nikki. All right, dry enough. Let me turn that back on real quick. Hey, Gab, will you go grab me a towel, please? Oh, you know what? Never mind. I'm right here by the cabinet. I'll grab it. Okay. I'm going to put a towel under here so that I don't mess up my counter, which I did before. We won't tell. No, I don't need a towel. Thank you, though. Hey, but after this is over, I may need you to model your shirt for everybody. I know they'll be thrilled to see your lovely face. Okay, so I'm going to grab some parchment paper. Going to cover this design up. And then I have had this heating. All right, so I am just going to hit the start button. This is just a Cricut heat press. You don't have to have a heat press. You can certainly use an iron. I did for almost a year. I set it on the highest heat setting, covered it with parchment paper, and then I ironed it front and back for 4 minutes. And it works just as fine as the Easy Press. The Easy Press just works for me because it takes 30 seconds versus 8 minutes, or I should say a minute versus 8 minutes, front and back, to get that done. So all I have to do is flip it over so that it's faster for you guys watching me. I'll show you that design there. And like I said, this is just a cheap t-shirt that I picked up at Walmart. So you can put these on anything. Doesn't have to be a special t-shirt for inking. It's just a simple t-shirt that I got at Walmart. Okay, I'm gonna do the other side, and then I'm gonna layer the words next. If you guys have any questions whatsoever, just make sure that you put them in comments. I know that some of my VIPs are watching. My VIP group is where I post all my bundles and my deals and my steals. So if you're interested in joining that group, just post VIP in the comments. And if you're interested in joining Couture yourself to host your own videos or to do your own parties or run your own business, you can just hit info or put info in the comments, and I'll be glad to send you that information as well. All right. Got that on there. Now I'm going to do the next part, and I'm going to layer the words here. And I'm just putting I am a superhero on top of it. And I'm going to do that in red. Hopefully that'll show up okay on this black t-shirt. I'm hoping so. All right, let me flip this over again. Y'all are so quiet. What do you think? Are y'all loving the ink as much as I do? Like I said earlier, you can use this on a variety of projects. You could do this on tote bags. You could do this on makeup bags, tea towels, t-shirts, of course. You could do that. I mean, the possibilities are endless. I've even seen people use our transfers with etching cream and do it on glass and etch the design into the glass, which is always a neat thing. I have not done etching before. It's probably something I need to try out, but I have not as of yet done it, but maybe we'll do that for a future project. So again, I'm using that ink mat just to secure this t-shirt to make sure that I don't have any wrinkles in the fabric, so that when I go to put down this transfer, I don't have to worry about it not laying perfectly flat because I've already smoothed that out onto this ink mat. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is and I'm going to put this right here at the top. Just kind of center it. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then I'm going to do the superhero down at the bottom. As soon as I can get it off here. There we go. Okay, I'm going to put this down. Right about there, I think. Let me see, there's 4 letters there, there's 4 letters there, so it should go right where the R is, since I'm so technical. There we go. Again, just gonna smooth that down, and then I'm gonna grab my red ink, and I'm gonna go from there. And I'll show you guys. Now, I've had this ink. This is our old ink. This is from when I first joined over a year ago. This is a 2-ounce jar. They don't even carry 2-ounce jars anymore. So this product lasts for a really long time. It does not take much at all to do projects. So a jar of paste or ink is going to last you for at least a year, I would say. Especially the color inks. I think our most popular is white and black, and I typically use that color, those colors more than anything else. But I did use quite a bit of red whenever Christmas was around, so I'm actually surprised that I didn't go through all of this, but I didn't. All right, again, I'm using the mini squeegee on this because it is a smaller transfer. So I'm just gonna apply this ink, and I'm just pushing that through that silk screen area. You do not have to cover the entire silk screen area, just where the clear area, hey Liz, just where the clear areas are of where your design is. So you don't have to worry about covering the entire green part. And again, like I said, because this is clear, you can see when you've missed a spot, and you can go back through it and use your squeegee to move that ink across that transfer so that you can make sure that that entire area is covered. I'm just scraping the excess off and putting it back in my jar so that I don't waste any. And then I'm just going to lift this up. There we go. And then I'm going to move on to the next part. And that is the superhero down at the bottom. I'm going to use, let's see, it is a bigger area, so I am going to use a bigger squeegee. I'll use my angled squeegee, I think, for this. Just going to load some ink onto there. That's a lot of ink, too. I probably won't need all that. And then just drag it right across. So it's not a soft paint stroke. It's more of a scrape. You're really pushing harder to make sure that you push that ink or that paste through that silk screen area. One of the great things about ink as opposed to our paste is that you have a little bit longer to work. Paste tends to dry really, really quickly. So you feel that pressure to hurry up and get that paste on that project and get that transfer lifted so that it doesn't dry on top of the silk screen and come up with the silk screen when you lift that transfer. But with ink, you have a little bit more time, so you can take your time and really make sure that you get it absolutely perfect. There we go. And again, I'm just going back and removing the excess. I'm going to put it back in my jar. set that squeegee aside. I'm gonna lift this up. And I did see that I went off the transfer a little bit, so I'm gonna try to clean that up. There we go. Now this would probably show up a lot better if this was not a black t-shirt. Probably maybe a royal blue. It would show up really, really well. I just had black on hand, so that's what I'm using. Oh, that came right off. Okay, good tip. If you go off your transfer, just use a Clorox wipe and wipe that up, and then you can possibly save your project and not ruin it. All right, so now I'm gonna remove the ink mat. You never want to heat set with your ink mat inside because it will warp it. The heat will. So you always want to make sure prior to the hairdryer or heat setting that you remove that ink mat. Now you can find all of these products on my website, and that website is chalkcouture.com / chalking with Nikki, and I will go back and put that in comments so that you guys can find it if you are wanting to shop. All right, that's about all I have patience for. So now I'm gonna grab my parchment paper again, right? I'm gonna lay this down, and I'm just gonna heat set it all over again. And I have this set at 305 degrees on my heat press, and I let it go for 30 seconds if you do have one. That's the temperature that I use. Any questions? Nobody's posted any questions. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe I'm doing a really good job explaining it all. I hope so. I do have a couple more projects that I'll be jumping on to share with you guys. I'm going to do, I think, a couple of Easter tea towels with the Build-A-Bunny transfer. I'm going to use the Spring Words, I think, and I am going to do a modified project on that. I'm going to use the truck transfer and a part of the truck. Oh, that's fine, Nicole. I appreciate you tuning in. So I'm going to use the truck transfer, and I am going to, I think, use a couple, maybe an add-on and I'm going to try to fit it onto the board and base, which is a 5x7. Now the truck transfer is an 8.5 by 11, so it's just going to use part of the truck. So you'll want to make sure that you tune in for that. I'm going to do this twice. And then, so that's going to be coming up for you guys. Let's see. I have a couple more projects, but those are not necessarily Chalk Couture related. So I'm going to be jumping onto my blog to do those. And that's, I have a Facebook page for that as well. And that's By the Lake with Nikki. So if you guys are interested in those other projects, you can certainly search By the Lake with Nikki on Facebook and pull that up. All right. Let's see how it turned out. Oh yeah, that turned out well. All right, I'll turn it around so you guys can see. The red doesn't really show up that well in a black t-shirt, but I'm going to move it closer. So, well, actually, I'm going to close my ink. Remember what I said before about me being a hot mess? Yep, hot mess, party of one. Here I am. I'm going to move this ink out of the way so that I don't ruin the t-shirt. Get the ink off my fingers. All right. Now I can lift it up for you guys. There it is. What do you think? Do you love it? Let me see if I can bring it closer. So cute, right? I would say in the future, if you're using the black, white shows up 1,000% better than anything else on the black t-shirt. White and the silver, I think. But if you're going to be using the inks on the black, then I would probably have the patience to do maybe 2 coats instead of 1. I don't have the patience for that. So if you do it, I would love to see it. Make sure you post it on the page and let everyone see. Again, I appreciate you guys tuning in with me today. I will be back again probably tomorrow to do another project with you guys. So I appreciate it. Make sure you share with your friends. Give me some hearts and thumbs up if you're loving the design, and come back. Make sure you subscribe if you're watching me on YouTube to my channel. The setting on my heat press, Lacey, is 305 degrees, and I do it for 30 seconds front and back. So you want to make sure, and if the area is large, move your heat press around and make sure you cover everything at 305 degrees. All right, you guys, if you have any additional questions, just make sure you post them in comments. I do come back and I answer all of those. And I appreciate you guys watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye.